Great Blurbs. Part 1. The Hook. I think learning how to write cover copy is one of the most valuable skills you can have. I learned by doing it by hand. I made notes. I think and think and think, and then I post my copy for critique. I still do this with every book I publish. I think everyone needs their person. You know, like on Grey's Anatomy, Meredith has Christina as her person. You need one of those. Because you're going to be showing some seriously bad cover copy to this person, and you don't want it to come back and bite you later. My person is Bonnie Paulson. We have a blurb chat in Slack where we can post our blurbs and get feedback on them. So get a person. And be sure to get some feedback on your blurbs, even if it's sending out different taglines in your newsletter and asking people what they like better. They'll tell you. Now, whether you should listen to them is an entirely different story. That's why we all need a Bonnie in our lives. Remember how I sat down with several successful versions of cover copy? Spread them out and made notes? Well, during all of that, I identified these 4 essential parts of killer cover copy. The hook, the setup, the conflict, the consequence. Once I could physically see this formula, everything came together for me. I'm a very visual learner, so this was tremendously helpful. Note: cover copy should be written in the tone of your novel. Keep that in mind as you go through this studying process. Just because someone else's successful copy is over the top funny doesn't mean yours will be unless you've also written a comedy. Remember this, but the copywriting formula doesn't change because of it. Up first, the hook. I think you need a hook, and sometimes this can be the tagline. In fact, for most of us, it's going to be that bolded tagline we worked on in the last chapter. That doesn't mean all of our work is done, though. Every other sentence in the blurb should lead someone higher up the mountain. Man, I've talked about goats and ducks so much in this book. I'll try to take that down a notch. Maybe step up the Grey's Anatomy references. Time will tell. Your hook should sum up the novel in one sentence. Propel the reader to read the rest of the cover copy with interest. Notice I didn't say it should make me gasp. It shouldn't make me guess at anything either. So many people I've worked with over the years are so worried about spoilers in their blurbs. People, you don't need to worry about that. What you do need to worry about is losing readers because you're too vague. Nobody wants vagueness. I mean, think about it. Who loves a good vague book post? Do you? Do you really? No. No one likes those. They frustrate us and make us want to unfollow people who can't simply spell out what they're trying to say. Don't be vague, book. Don't get blocked. Don't get passed over because you can't say what your book is about. Recently, I watched a movie where a child got lost and his seemingly loving mother never came to get him. It wasn't the point of the movie, but I was fixated on it. Why didn't that mother come back for him? Where was she now? What had happened to her? Would I ever find out? What had the boy done to find out? On and on. I kept leaning over to my husband and asking him questions, and he was like, "Dude, Elana, chill. I'm sure we'll find out." But I didn't trust the movie to tell me. I was worried about it, and I started looking it up on my phone right there in the movie theater. That's right. I needed to know before the movie showed me. If you leave out key parts of your blurb that brand new readers need to know, they might just click somewhere else. They don't trust you yet, and it's your job to earn that trust. You do it first in the blurb by carefully putting all the relevant details they need to be satisfied, the exact same way you do in your actual book. Your hook should sum up the novel and make me want to read more. Basically, you want your hook to be the answer to the question, what is your book about? You should have seen my panic face the first time I was asked that. I was like, well, it's about this guy, and he's kind of immortal, and there's this girl, and she can make him mortal. Or something. Yeah, it didn't go well. I don't think I gained a fan at the checkout counter at the grocery store. LOL. In general, I advocate for hooks that grab, entice, get out all in one sentence. Mimic the tone of your novel. Are strong statements, not questions. This one is not a hard and fast rule, but it's generally better to avoid yes/no questions right off the bat. A hook can be your tagline. It can also be longer, the first sentence of the actual blurb below the tagline. Hooks often name main characters immediately, instead of referring to them as tropes. Stop and work. Write a hook for your WIP. Right now. I often write my blurbs well before my books are done. Usually write about the break into two, which is at 25% in my novels. Why? Because everything I need for my blurb has been written. I know the characters, look. I know what they want, set up. I know why they can't have it, main conflict. And I know what will happen if they don't figure out how to get it, consequence. I can write the blurb at 25% of the book. Sometimes before that if the concept is really clear in my head. So take a few minutes and think about the book you're writing right now. If you're already into the second act, take a minute and write a hook for it. What is your book about? Who's the main character and why should I care about him/her? Remember, you can grab a printable PDF to help you with your blurb. It's here. Hooks are often longer, and often include names. Here's one for one of my novels. Darren Butters is cool, collected, and quiet and utterly devastated when his girlfriend of 9 months, Farrah Irvine, breaks up with him because he wanted her to ride her horse in a parade. I give you more information about Darren. We know from the tagline above that he's a cowboy, so I'm not stuffing that trope down your throat again. Instead, I'm giving more about him in as few words as possible. He's not a big talker, and his girlfriend, who I also name, broke up with him over something that shouldn't be a big deal. Why is it a big deal to her? Who is she? I should keep reading to find out. I whispered that again, because that's what I want readers to be doing. They're on the goat, bumping along, and it's my job to creepily whisper to them as they march up the mountain. Keep reading to find out. You're going to love this story. Better buy and read now. See how hooks do that? They propel. They further entice, past the tagline. They give more information without overwhelming. Because we're going to give readers even more in a minute when we talk about the setup. The hook's job is to keep people going. They're nearing the first bridge, and we don't want them to stop now. In fact, maybe they should just go by now. Readers can, and should, be able to stop reading your blurb at any time and go by now. If you put all the pieces in the right places, they'll never have a reason to say no and move on to something else. Now, they might have landed on your page by accident, so they don't buy. Their toddler may have started screaming right when they looked at your book, so they don't buy. They might not have the money if your book is priced higher than they can afford. They might. But it should never be your cover copy that is deterring them from buying. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. You have ultimate control over this, and you can make it the best it can be. So do it. Final words on hooks. Do you have a person you can bounce ideas off of? Who can look at your bad copy for you? Can you answer, what is your book about? Write one sentence that mimics the tone of the novel and springboards the reader to keep reading. Be succinct in telling who the characters are to propel readers into the setup.